Installing exterior doors and windows is a key part of the framing of a house. Generally, this process takes place after the roof sheathing is complete. Doors and windows are physical barriers that allow entrance and exit of a home. It's important that construction craft laborers understand that the installation of doors, and in some cases windows, must follow national codes. This is because doors and some windows are designated as fire exits. Follow all building codes and plans when framing and installing doors and windows. Door and window schedules are equally as important. Follow them closely. As with any construction project, safety is job number one. Hanging doors may seem like a simple task, but don't take the job lightly. Injuries can occur on any type of construction task, no matter how simple or complex the project. Wear your personal protective equipment. This may include an ANSI-approved hard hat, safety glasses, hearing protection, work gloves, and steel-toed work boots. The next step is organizing your project. Know which tools to use for specific tasks. Organize your tools in a task-sequenced order. With this accomplished, it's time to go to work. Most doors today are framed and cased and arrive on the job site already assembled. These types of doors are called pre-hung doors. Keep in mind that there are various degrees of pre-hung doors. Let's first take a look at exterior doors. Exterior doors have frames that consist of a head or head jamb at the top of the frame, along with a bottom portion called a sill. It rests outside of the door threshold to form the bottom frame of the door opening. There is both a head jamb and two side jambs that make up the door frame. Both casing and stops are nailed to the door jambs so the door can be hung. Casings, sometimes called molding, are the trim around the door opening. Exterior casings are not only decorative, they're used to help secure the door frame in the opening. They also hide the gap between the door jamb and the rough openings. When it comes to pre-hung doors, the terminology becomes somewhat confusing. You'll often hear the term slab doors. Slab doors are nothing more than just the piece of wood or material without any hardware such as hinges and lock sets installed. Another term for a slab door is a knockdown door, or a KD. The term flush doors refers to doors that are flat. They can be made of many types of material, though most often they're constructed of plywood. A combination door uses both flat surfaces and panels in its design. Typically, exterior doors are 1 3/4 inch thick and range between 2 feet 8 inches to 3 feet in width and 6 feet 8 inches to 7 feet in height. Most doors are constructed of wood, steel, and fiberglass. Once the rough openings have been completed, it's time to carefully construct the door frame based upon the size of the door you will be hanging. Remember that a door frame is the holder and receiver of the door. Similar to pre-hung doors, exterior door frames often come constructed or pre-assembled. The first step in installing the door is to install or set the door jamb. Exterior door jambs are constructed of stock that ranges from 1 1/4 inch to 1 3/8 inch in width. The door frame is comprised of a head jamb and 2 side jambs. Set the jamb unit into position in the rough opening. Sometimes when setting the door jambs, shims are required. Shims are very thin pieces of wood wedged into the sides of the header and sill that hold the jamb in place. Plumb the edge and face with shims on both sides at the head and sill to hold the jamb in place. Maintain the position and nail the jamb to the frame. Finally, check for square and plumb. Casing is the trim around the openings of doors and windows. Casing provides a decorative finish for the door and hides the gap between the door jamb and the rough opening. In addition, casing increases the durability of the exterior of a house and door entrance and improves overall ventilation. To install casing, Measure the horizontal and vertical opening dimensions. Measure and mark the side casing members to show the reveal. Cut the side casing members with the heads exposed. Nail the side casing. Measure and mark the top casing members. Cut the top casing member. Align the top casing with the side casing. Nail the top casing. Test hang the door and reinsert the pins. Adjust the door for clearance and operation. Installing a pre-hung door is a much simpler process than the door hanging process we've just detailed. A pre-hung door unit is already assembled to its hinged finished frame and is ready to be installed into the rough opening of the exterior doorway. What makes pre-hung doors so convenient is that in addition to coming fully mounted in their frames with the exterior casing, they include the lock sets, as well as the assembly hardware, such as set screws for installation. Start by checking the door unit size. Lift the door unit into the opening. Level, plumb, and shim the door unit. Fasten the door molding or flange to the framing at the top to hold the unit in place. Install the lift handle. Once you've mastered door installation, installing window units is a piece of cake. Essentially, the procedure is the same. Check that the window unit is securely fastened to the frame. Just as with doors, the window should operate freely. Lift the window unit into its framed opening. Check the window for plumb, square, and level. Shim the unit where needed. Fasten the window molding or flange to the framing at the top to hold the unit in place. Fasten the unit to the framing. Installing doors and windows can be a challenging task, but with a little practice and the good fortune to work with an experienced construction craft laborer who can show you a few tricks of the trade, you'll be able to master the craft.